Good morning. So, which type of exercise is best for fat loss? Now, before we go into it, I just want to say that we know that you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat. So, of course, you can do no exercise. You can do it all in the kitchen for your nutrition, as long as you are in a calorie deficit. But what I want to cover today is if you were to exercise, what would be the best form to maximize fat loss? And this is where it comes down to a bit of a personal choice and knowing what you're like. So I'll give you an example. So yesterday at Fruci Fit, we had a bit of an event, like a simulation of a high rocks event. And it's myself, Julie, one of our other coaches did it together as a team. And I look at my calories that I burn, and it was 1,300 calories in one workout, which is a lot for me. Like, that's like the highest by far. Normally in a workout, I'll burn like 300 odd calories, 400 calories. And you look at that and I think, wow, I've burned a lot of calories. And you look at my nutrition through the day and what I did the day before. I, one, increased my carbohydrate intake a little bit more. I, two, had a few sweets around the workouts and stuff like that, putting them in, the odd sugary drink, fine, just to fuel that. I walked less around the last day or so, just moved less in general. Didn't do as much exercise in general as part of my day. Tried to not do too much to save myself for that. Now, the interesting thing is I had a little look at how many calories I normally burn on a day versus how many calories I burn on that day. And there was pretty much minimal difference because I didn't do things like I'm doing now for as long, like walking, like just moving through the day. I didn't do my resistance exercise, which is like 300-400 calories or so. Not a lot, but it adds up. But also, I ended up sitting down for longer periods as well. But as well as that, I compensated with my food a little bit because I would carb up a little bit. I'd be like, to get through it, I'd be like, have a drink, that has a few more calories that I wouldn't normally have, a bit more carbohydrates, sugar than normal. My point here is I ate more and burned pretty much the same calories. And I've got more DOMs, like a bit of muscle soreness than normal today, which you could argue if you were just listening to your body, in my glutes, for example, I could argue, I won't do any walking today. But actually, it's going to be good for recovery. But I could say, I'm going to do less today now. And if that's the only style of workouts I'm doing, I might then go, I'm going to rest day today, rest day tomorrow, and then I'll hit it hard again in 3 days' time, 4 days' time. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because overall, given it's a calorie balance and we want to lose body fat and we want to change body shape, etc., the number of times you hit a stimulus is going to be important. So if I'm now having more rest days, I'm not moving as much as part of my day, I'm going to struggle a bit more to get into a calorie deficit. If I'm having to eat more to fuel these workouts, or feel like I need to eat more to fuel these workouts, not that we really actually do, it might make a little bit of a difference, but like all of a sudden we're offsetting this. And if this doesn't align with our goal of, say, fat loss, we have to be cautious sometimes of when we're training for more performance and when we're exercising for a bit more fat loss, body composition goals, health goals, taking tension off joints, mobility, and that side of things as well. So it's important to think about our goals in many different ways, because at the same time, having a goal that pushes you a bit more, like an event, can work wonders for your motivation to actually exercise in the first place. So there's no right or wrong in this, but it's about being aware of how much do we compensate when we do higher intensity exercise. Do we need to do more often, but perhaps less intense? What happens to your hunger levels when you do different styles of exercise? For example, if I do more cardiovascular, like walking, like I am now, doesn't stimulate hunger at all for me. In fact, it actually curbs my hunger. I could be a little bit hungry, go for a little walk, and I'm actually fine. If I go for a run, that's a slightly different story. I actually feel I get a bit hungrier through the day. So it's knowing what works for you in that, and then knowing what your goals are as well. If your goal is to lose fat, tone up, muscle strength, build that muscle, improve bone density, then we've got to consider about our day-to-day activity, the exercise that you do in and around your exercise as well. Like, so not just the structured exercise. Let's say we do some resistance exercise, we burn 300 odd calories, 400 calories. You will break down muscle, which will burn calories long after that as well, which is a good thing. But at the same time, we don't just want to say, okay, we're doing a workout, then do nothing. It's that movement throughout the day. And then if that exercise then stops you moving much, you think, oh, can't be bothered to walk the dogs now, can't be bothered to do my normal walk. That's going to offset the exercise that we've done to help create that calorie deficit. So, which type of exercise is the best on here? What's the one that allows you to get into a calorie deficit more easily? The one that helps you recover the best, move the more, but at the same time, stay motivated as well. And if we consider that actually this is quite a personal thing, this is where a bit of trial and error can be quite helpful. Because I know people say, well, no matter what I do, I just can't lose weight. But they've got into a habit of really fueling for every workout, but they're trying to lose fat, forgetting that, we have a lot of stores on our body. And, if we, for the sake of 1 to 2% performance, we could actually help ourselves create a calorie deficit by perhaps fueling in a slightly different way for these workouts, perhaps working at a moderate rather than a high intensity sometimes, perhaps focusing a few exercises, a few days on just purely more resistance work, so that it's lowering the stress on your central nervous system, so you don't feel as wiped out, so you have a bit more energy to do more workout and then get on with your day, get your steps and not feel massively wiped out. So these are all questions to consider, and in the broad scheme of things, it might be that a combination of the two actually works best, but that's where it comes down to knowing what works for you, feedback, conversations, just like we do in Fruci Fit, in terms of having the one-to-one when you come in to look at, okay, what have you done before? Where are you at right now? What makes you tick? Then we can look at what's going to work for you, what's not going to work for you. Let's do more of what works for you as we go in trial and error. So I hope that helps. Any questions, let me know. We are about to launch our 100-day challenge coming soon. If you want more information on that, comment with 100-day and I'll see you soon. Any questions, let me know, and have an awesome Monday.